Hi, I'm George Davis, and I want to be your 20th Ward Alderman. One of the issues I want to talk about is affordable housing. Affordable housing is a critical issue for the 20th Ward. It's an issue that I've been working on in the community for the last several years through community groups to address an overall plan for housing. Affordable housing is an issue that I'm intimately connected with because as my wife and I were in college and graduate school, while I was in law school and she was an undergrad, we needed to live in affordable housing. We needed that as a step up for us. So I completely understand how people and why people need to be in affordable housing and how that can help move you to the next stage in your life. While I was in law school, we actually had our sons, and unfortunately we were in an apartment and the rent had gone up and we could no longer afford the rent. So we had to move 2 or 3 times. So it impacted us heavily as we were trying to find an affordable place to stay for our growing family. And it's an important issue that hasn't been addressed by our current alderman, but it's an issue that's going to impact our ward as a whole. So I've put together a housing statement and a housing strategy that I think can help move our community forward, and I would like to talk to you a little bit about it. The housing market and prices from 2006 to 2007 were an aberration. They were overinflated because of fraud and lies. Those prices may never come back. So for those of you, including myself, who bought or refinanced from 2004 to 2007, there is no silver bullet. So we have to make the best of the current situation that we're in. Now, assuming that there's a 1% appreciation per year, it will basically take us about 70 years to get back to 2006 prices. Now, assuming that there's a miraculous 10% appreciation per year, as is going on in China right now, it will take us 7 years to get back to 2006 prices. But as of now, housing values continue to lose value. So we are not even at the point of recovering right now. Now, with respect to Woodlawn in particular, the housing market in Woodlawn is practically non-existent. All the vacant homes you see are going to remain vacant if we don't do anything else but wait for owner occupants to buy them. There is an alternative though. Plenty of people want to live in Woodlawn, even though they can't currently afford to buy in Woodlawn. We should embrace these families and work together to find ways to put foreclosed and vacant homes back into productive use. We should make homes affordable and available for all the people who want to be here in this community. Now, some people may think that affordable housing for renters will drive down property values. However, the research that I've seen shows us that the property values have already bottomed out in this community. Vacant and collapsing homes are only going to make it worse. The only way to increase property values now is by getting occupancy rates up. We must show that Woodlawn is brimming with people who want to live here. Whether they pay rent and how much they pay really won't matter to an appraiser. For those of you who want a little bit more about some of the statistics that we're using or some of the information that I found, I suggest going to a website called redfin.com, www.redfin.com, and type in Woodlawn, and you'll be able to see some of the numbers that we've used to put together this analysis. So another important statistic has to do with housing stock. The existing housing inventory measures the supply of homes available for sale on the market. Typically in a healthy market, that supply is about 3 to 6 months, which means that if no houses come on the market, it would take 3 to 6 months at the current monthly rate of purchasing to buy up everything on the market. Unfortunately, we're not in a healthy market. Currently, the existing inventory rate available nationally is at 9 months. But when you add houses that come onto the market due to foreclosure and abandonment, we're at a supply of about 30 months, or 2.5 years. So what does that tell us? The talking about building more condos and townhomes in a climate where the available housing stock is overwhelming. One, banks are barely lending to people even with the best of credit. And then they're still requiring potential buyers to be able to put down a minimum of 3%, sometimes up to 20% on a home is completely misguided and irresponsible. We must be focused on increasing affordable housing solutions and getting more residents into these properties. And we need to abandon this notion that renters are not as concerned or committed to preserving or maintaining properties. So, long term, as alderman, I'm committed to doing the following: getting abandoned or foreclosed properties occupied. Houses that have been abandoned or vacant will be demolished by the City of Chicago after 2 years. This increases the number of vacant lots. Abandoned buildings, they also attract criminals who strip them for copper or appliances. Sometimes drugs are stored in them. It generally adds to the blight of the community. For the time being, foreclosed properties will not likely be purchased by owner-occupants. Accordingly, I believe that the city must partner with potential investor landlords to get these properties occupied and must support prospective landlords and tenants in turning these saved homes into rental units. Additionally, foreclosed properties tend to have many issues with deferred maintenance. As alderman, my goal would be to avoid punishing a new owner with code violations, fine, and penalties right away, but give them the time to get the property back up to code. I will also help provide for new landlords. I will also help provide training for new landlords to give them tips on how to more effectively screen potential residents and tenants to ensure that these new residents coming into the community are as committed to preserving and enhancing the neighborhood as the existing homeowners. The second step will be helping residents work with their lenders to mitigate foreclosure through short sales or loan modifications. Now, the city has limited power over loan services and investors. However, I believe that the city should threaten to remove its money from large lending institutions that do not make good faith efforts to do loan modifications. This is imperative as the number of loan modifications in the city of Chicago is abysmally low. Since the majority of mortgage foreclosures are done by Bank of America, JP Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo, and Citibank, I believe that Chicago should pursue cutting its financial ties to these institutions if they do not meet certain benchmarks set by the Department of Community Development. Also, the fear of holding costs for these lenders is making it a lot easier for them to simply hold on to the property. If we structure this so that lenders will incur additional costs by holding on to the properties, it'll make them negotiate up front earlier. So essentially what we're trying to do is punish large companies for holding on to large numbers of abandoned properties so that they begin to negotiate up front and the properties will never become abandoned in the first place. So these are some of the key goals that I will work on and that I will be committed to as alderman. I hope that if you have any questions, you'll follow up with our campaign office. Please give us a call or please go to our website, georgedavis420thward.com. My name is George Davis. I appreciate your support and I would appreciate your vote on February 22nd, 2011. Thank you.